iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Good afternoon, race fans, and welcome to race number 1 of the Blazing Pedals Arca series, presented by TRJ Karting. Tonight, we are at the High Banks High Speed Oval of Daytona International Speedway. Right now, we just clicked over from practice over to qualifying, so we will see cars out on track by themselves to try and get tonight's pole award. The pole award, the front row award, actually. You get both some money for pole and, of course, to the outside, presented by MF Racing Design. So we'll have to see who can claim that tonight. Will it be last week's winner, the Clash winner, the one car of Ty Marasco, or will someone else be able to get it done? We got all the cars in the field for tonight's big dance, so it should be a good one. As we'll look for some cars out on track here, we'll look to the 88 machine of Jamie Walker out here in the discount tire machine. We'll see where he can put that thing. Of course, this is Brett the Jet in the booth from Turn 3 Racing Network. Be sure to like and subscribe if you like what you're seeing. Also, be sure to check out all the other good racing action here at the Turn 3 Racing Network. As the 88 machine comes to complete his first time lap against the wall. Again, that thing wound up. We'll see where he goes. Here is his money lap here, trying to keep that thing as low as possible. Keep that wheel as straight as possible. Keep all the momentum he can to try and get that front row award. Right now, the 46 machine of Fred Thompson at the top of the speed charts, but we'll have to see where these drivers fan on out once they get their money laps in, because I would assume most people are going to throw away their first time lap just to try and build up that extra mile an hour, because even though it doesn't seem like much watching at home, that extra mile an hour can be 1 or 2 hundredths of a second, and that is huge in qualifying here at the Super Speedway. As the 88 ducks down below the double yellow line, crosses the start finish line, and he will go to P1 with throwing away that first lap. We'll see if he can reclaim it. No, he doesn't. The 64 machine now to the top of the board as we now go look to the 42 machine of Kyle Wellman. We will get the timing and scoring on the left side of our screen here. Right now, the 64 machine at the top of the boards, but a lot of cars still to take a lap. We have 16 times out of the, I want to say 34 or 35 cars here at least. So a strong field at Daytona here. As we see the 42 machine take his first time lap. He's going to try and make this the money lap. He goes down to the apron, puts himself P14. We'll now look to the 16 of Ian Habiuk. He's right against the wall here. Again, that TRJ karting machine wound up, and we'll see where he can put that thing here on the speed charts. We do have a lot of time in qualifying here, a whole 10 minutes, because this is such a large track. Also, be sure, if you're out there in the YouTube chat lands, be sure to comment and let me know who your favorite drivers, who you're rooting out there for. Maybe we can get them a little extra screen time as we watch the 16 go down the super stretch for his first time lap, really winding that thing up, making sure that he gets all that he can from that. He's pretty close to the wall. I don't know if I would be that close if I was out there in the car, because iRacing does have dynamic air, and you can kind of compress the air to your right side. You can feel the wall without actually touching it, but that can also slow down your car, especially with how yawed out these Arca cars are. So we'll have to see if that maybe slowed him on down, as this is his money lap. We'll see him hug that double yellow line as much as he can, as the 64 machine still at the top of the boards. As we see the 16 machine heading down the super stretch for the final time in qualifying. As I see, we already have some Mark Arthur number 12 supporters out there, so I'll be sure to jump over to him, as I think he's getting wound on up for his lap here. We'll have to see where the 16 files on in with that lap time. Doesn't quite cut the double yellow, but it puts him P19. So the 16 will have to start deep in this field, as we now look to the 12 of Mark Arthur. Coming up to complete his first time lap. This will be the money lap for the number 12 Barbie machine. As he heads through turns 1 and 2 for the final time. A nice smooth entry. You don't see that car moving around at all. That's a good sign for a fast lap. Lets it arc out just a little bit. Now running down the middle of the backstretch for the final time. That's looking like a pretty decent lap, I'm going to guess. I'm going to guess within the top 10 here. We'll have to see where he slots on in the timing and scoring as he comes out of a turn for the final time. We'll see he ducks down below the double yellow, hits the start finish line, and puts himself P1. So the 12 car of Mark Arthur goes to the top of the board. As we'll look at last season's champion, and last year's, Matt Gruenberg in the 54 here will complete his first time lap. This will be the money lap for the 54 machine. We'll see if he can topple Mark Arthur at the top of the speed charts with a 49.37. Another pretty good run. Pretty identical line to Mark Arthur. Kind of a quarter car length up, making sure they don't hit the apron, but a lot lower down the backstretch initially. We'll have to see if that is the difference or not, as the 54 goes down the super stretch for the final time here in qualifying. as he heads through 3 and 4, keeping that thing nice and steady. You don't see him moving that wheel at all, keeping that wheel constant as he comes off of turn 4 for the final time. We'll head down to the line. He cuts it later than Arthur, doesn't quite get it where he wants. That will put him P3 and just outside the front row award. So with qualifying about to wrap up here, folks, we will actually go to a little fun thing new this season. I get to decide when the stage caution comes out, folks. It's not known to the drivers till when I spin this wheel. So we'll go over to the wheel here and we'll give it a little spin. We'll see, maybe we'll take some bets sometime on if people can guess the number right. But we'll give this thing a spin here and we'll see what number we get for the stage caution here tonight. And it will be on lap 38. So, lap 38 will have our caution. So, we'll let race control know from over at my end. And we will get them going. As we will have our stage caution, lap 38. So, almost just past a quarter of a way. Wow. Of this race, we'll have our yellow flag for the race. So, Mark Arthur does get it done. And he will be tonight's Michael Falk Racing Designs pole winner with the 64 machine of Josh Rutherford, also getting an award too for the front row. So, we will get our starting order. We got a lot of cars to go through here, so we will head down trackside and run through the grid. As we have Mark Arthur in the 12, gets the MKRD pole award. Josh Rutherford also gets the outside pole award in the 64. Starting in our second row, we got last season's defending champion Matt Gruenberg in the 54. To his outside, Jamie Walker in the 88. Rounding out our top 5 is Derek Paulson in the 6. To his outside, we got Taylor Butcher Benjamin. In 7th, we got Brad Collins in the 22. Sam Bumgarden in the 57 will start P8. P9 goes to Corey Rutherford in the 5. Paul Ellison in the 55 will round out our top 10. 11th is Dalton Kilroe in the 41. To his outside, we got in 12th, we got Casey Campbell in the 73. Matt Hackathorn in the 84 will start 13th. 14th is Jeffrey Fisher in the 06. In 15th, we got Jordan McAvoy in the 21. Tanner Marr in the 4 will start 16th. 17th is Joe Alberco in the 83. Rick Thompson in the 76 will start 18th. 19th is Jason Powell in the 18. 20th is John Perkins in the 33. 21st goes to Cody Gibson in the 87. Fred Thompson in the 46 will start P22. 23rd is Brandon Feeney in the 38. Ian Haviuk in the 16 will start 24th. 25th goes to Kyle Wellman in the 42. Race Clark will start 26th. 27th is Nick Akie in the 9. Sorry, Akie. Josh Sexton will start 28th. 29th, the Clash winner himself, starting deep in this field, Ty Marasco in the 1. Philip Van Fleet in the 89 will start 30th. 31st is James Miller in the 09. And 32nd will go to Corey Sherman. 33 is Randy McAvoy. 34th is Rick Hammond. 35th is Amanda Sherman. Terry Foster will start 36, and rounding out our field tonight, Chris Legou in 37. So a stout field here, folks. As the lights are out on the pace car, we are going green this time by, as we look at this large field at Daytona. We got to figure out who wants to work with who. When people want to start making moves, we at least have a caution on lap 38. But besides that, it's going to come all at the drivers. As the pace car makes the hard left-hand turn down pit road, we wait for the 12 to fire on. We fire off, and we are green flag racing here for the season at Blazing Pedals. As Mark Arthur gets a great start here, leading that inside line. They have the momentum. They have the speed. Now the 54 are almost making a move early and going to duck out from behind the 12 as most of the rest of the field starts to get single filed on out. As we see the 88 machine kind of pulling shoots saying, hey, I was going for that qualifying time, but now I don't want to be towards the front and towards the madness. As we see the 54 machine taking the lead here early from the 12 already here on lap number 1. As we complete lap number 1 of 120 here for the Blazing Pedals TRJ season opener at Daytona. As we're looking at this front pack here, folks, kind of broken on up from where everyone else is at on track. Already starting to form some groups. Most people taking her easy, except for at the front here trying to lead a lap. But most of the other cars are riding on around. Now we'll see for the most part here, trying to figure out these cars, figure out this track. We saw, I thought it looked like the cars were a little bit loose last week for the Clash with that setup, but everyone said they drove pretty well, so I'll take the driver's word for it. But today they're looking like they're stuck pretty good, so we will have to see how it goes on as intensity goes on, because right now everyone's kind of riding around, see what they can do, see who they want to work with, try and get with their teammates, because here at Blazing Pedals there are a lot of teams and a lot of good drivers here in this field. Now, one thing with these Arca cars that everyone has to keep in mind, you'll see that no one locks bumpers here, whether in the corner or in the straightaway. This is because those very rounded, very low noses on these Arca cars do not line up with those high flat bumpers of the car in front of you. So if you do end up pushing the car in front, you will 95% of the time end up spinning the car in front. So we'll see everyone push with the air rather than pushing with actual locking bumpers. As we're looking at the 10 car of TBB, Taylor Butcher Benjamin here. The second car on the outside road, just trying to keep that thing, seeing what this outside has to offer as he's behind the 64 of Josh Rutherford, leading that high side. But last season's champion, Matt Gruenberg, is leading the field and leading that bottom side. So besides this coming to green. The 54 has led every lap since here early in this race. As we go a little bit further back here, check out some cars just riding on around. Look at the 87 SRX machine of Cody Gibson. Riding around currently in the 25th position, just making sure that he brings that thing home in one piece. Not really worried about too much in front. Just got to hope that it stays clean and green for that 87 machine. Not the wreck kind of clears himself by the time he gets there. We go look a little bit further up in this field. We got the 84 machine of Matt Hackenthorn here on the bottom, kind of leading this second pack behind those leaders, actually going to the top side now to work with the 21 machine. So maybe trying to see who people can work with. Maybe he's saying, we're still a little bit too close to that pack just in front of him. So trying to make sure that he keeps some distance in case something were to unfold, as they have caught the pack in front of him. As you see here, the 84 actually catching that outside pack, so he's going to join this front pack, and the front pack is going to get larger. As now it's about, I want to say, 20 to 25 cars long as we look back here at 25th. And yeah, the 5 car of Corey Rutherford leading that second pack now, so everyone's kind of gaining to that first pack, whether it's whether that first pack's slowing up to save some fuel, or if these guys are maybe starting to push a little bit more. As we look at our number 2 running car, Mark Arthur in that Barbie machine. Definitely will stand out through this field no matter where he's at with that pink and white scheme. I believe it is another one of those sweet looking MF Racing Design machines. As this time by, we hit lap 12 so far under green the whole time. That marks a 10th of the way through this race already. Maybe we'll go all the way to the back here and look at some cars riding around with the likes of Corey Sherman, Anthony Sherman, Terry Forster, Chris Legou, and Rick Hammond all riding around here at the very back. They might show that they're last on the ticker, but all these cars still have a bunch of speed. They're just making sure they stay out of the big one in case it does happen here early. As we look at the man himself, Terry. See another pink and this time a little blue in it. Another good scheme for the Terry, the Taffy man, Foster. You see one car down below the double yellow line. So they do have a rule where you cannot advance your position below the double file line, but you can go down there in case you need to avoid a wreck or to, as I quote unquote call, pull and shoots, where you drop to the back of the field. But you cannot go down there and advance your position. So we'll have to keep an eye on that tonight. And hopefully you don't have to make any of those calls up here in the booth. As we go a little bit deeper in the field, maybe we'll talk about the 33 of John Perkins right here. Right around in mid-pack here in that sweet flame ski machine. Always am a sucker for some flames on some race car. I think they add a little bit of speed, at least half a tenth to a race car. So we'll have to see when this 33 machine decides to turn it up and maybe apply some heat to the rest of this field. As we see here, only 3 cars up in that second lane trying to make it work. Everyone else down at the bottom just riding around, clicking off laps, making sure that they keep their car in one piece here for when it counts. So, everyone racing the smart race as of right now, just trying to ride around and not make any silly mistakes if they don't have to. As we click over to lap number 17 here, keep on clicking off laps. We'll be right back to commercial. We'll be back with some racing action right after. As we come back here to live racing action on lap number 20, we had some takers down pit road there. As we'll get some more coming on down here soon. But Mark Arthur in the 12 machine now leading the way. As we'll see some more cars make the hard left-hand turn and go down pit road. As we see some cars making the hard left-hand turn, trying to get down pit road. The likes of the 12, the 73 slides it, gets it down. The question is, does any of those cars that are down pit road, do they get any speeding penalties? But as they cycle on through, Derek Paulson in the 6 now takes over the point. As we see the next group of cars coming down pit road, this time being led by the 6 machine. And now I believe there's only 3 cars that have not pitted, the 10, the 38, and the 1. That's some smoke there from the access road. Maybe one car got loose coming out of pit road. As we'll see these cars now come down pit road here. And they will get it woe down to pit road speed. As when this cycles on out, the 87 machine with a quick stop. He will take over the point. As we see here, the field coming on through with some slower cars as the 54 tries to lead that top side 3 wide. As when you have a run, you can't really lift. All you can do is kind of move on over, and that's what they had to do there as they are still double file here. But the question is, what kind of strategy did everyone use? Did some people take 4? Did some take 2? Did some take no tires? Because we still got the for sure caution that we know about here in the audience. The drivers don't know about, so we know there's one coming at 38. So I would have to assume everyone did take 4 tires and filled it up with Sunoco Racing Fuel. Unless, of course, they tuned into the broadcast. As we look at the 10 car leading the way around this place, but he is on his own and about to get engulfed by the field just behind him there. As we see him now getting filed on back to that inside lane still, but in with the main pack here as they kind of checked out on their own. As now the 12 of Mark Arthur is a lap down in this pack. So we'll have to wonder, did something maybe happened to him? Did he get that penalty? Because that's one of the trickiest things on Super Speedway, is getting these things wound down from 180, 190 all the way to 60 miles an hour to pit road speed. So a tough break early for that 12 car, but as they ride around right now, he is in the lucky dog position. The thing is, if there is a yellow flag, he has to keep that car clean to be eligible for the lucky dog. As leading the field right now, the 09 machine of James Miller being pushed by, looks like, oh sorry, excuse me. The 09 is pushing the 06 machine of Jeff Fisher. So Jeff Fisher is not technically currently a lap down, but he is not racing these cars for the race lead. So he's going to have to stay there out in front of this line to not be the lucky dog. And that's what kind of Mark Arthur is hoping as well, that he can stay up front of the 54 and not be a lap down if a yellow flag does come out. As the first group here has about 16 cars in it, we go a little bit further back in this field to the second group from 17th to about 21st here. All these cars had maybe a little bit slower of a stop than the leaders, whether for one reason or another. And then we have one more group here of about 3 cars for 22nd, 23rd, and 24th on the speedway. Whereas the next group is actually about to get engulfed by the leaders and go a lap down as well. That includes the 87, 71, and the 46 machine. So we'll keep our eyes on the leaders here as they try and navigate this lap traffic, as they're already double file. As we see some cars staying low, some going high. A little bit of miscommunication there. And some 3 wide racing action here with cars on the lead lap and cars a lap down. As still the battle for the race lead is that 54 and that 09 machine. That 09 white and red machine on the inside. So a good amount of lap cars here mixed in with the lead pack, as we are a quarter of the way through this race already. As we continue to look at the race leader, Matt Gruenberg, leading this inside line. The next car he has to race for position is that 10 car, that third car on the top side of Taylor Butcher Benjamin. Sorry for being a little bit quiet on my end. I think maybe stuttering just a hair, so sorry about that at home, folks. I'm trying to get that under control, as I think it's a little bit better now, but we'll have to keep a monitor on that. As we look here, now we got the 73 machine of Casey Campbell out here. One cool thing with him is we actually got a onboard to go along with it, so we will go check out what the 73 machine is doing and what it's kind of looking like on his end of the screen here. As we actually will see all of the live streams here, so got some cool onboard shots from some actual drivers. The 73 machine is at the top of the screen there, so some pretty cool stuff. You see him working that wheel, as maybe we'll try and ride onboard with him as well and see what he's doing on that wheel as we go into turn number 3. As we go back to the race here, as we see these guys trying to stay just one lap down compared to these leaders, as you see them coming up strong once again in this race. These guys trying to make it to our stage caution that they do not know about. as we still have the 54 machine leading the way here. TBB in second, and the 21 machine of Jordan McAvoy is in third. He is that third car on the outside lane, so all these guys racing for position here. But that pack that's out in front that had the 73 machine in it of Casey Campbell will stay on the lead lap, as we have one car with a little bit of internet problems, maybe some smoke by one car alone. He's having a little bit of connection issues. I know that feeling out there at Daytona. As we go under yellow flag here at Daytona for the first time for the stage caution. So this will group everyone back up, allow some cars to get the way around the free pass, all that good stuff, and allow the rest of the field to get 4 fresh Goodyear tires and fill her up with Sunoco race fuel. As we see them trying to catch the pace car here. As with a little bit of time and a little bit of lull in the action, we'll go over the race info here at the Daytona International Speedway. So we got the season opener here at Daytona. We're going for 120 laps at this 2.5 mile super speedway at Daytona International. Of course, the Blazing Pedals Arca Series is presented by TRJ Karting. We saw their commercial once already. May see it again here. Looking like a nice sunny day here in Florida. 79 degrees. 52 degrees of humidity, only 2-mile-an-hour winds here. And of course, Blazing Pedals is presented by the following: TRJ Karting, MF Racing Designs, Savage Edge, and Butt Kicker as well. So be sure to check out all those for whatever needs you have. As we see the field heading down pit road, we'll jump up to our race leader and see how good of a stop he gets, as there are some cars out here staying on out. The likes of the 87, 71, the 12, the 38, trying to get that free pass. As we look out here, the 88 might have stayed out as well. He is right now scored as our race leader. But it looks like the 10 machine, the TBB machine, able to get out in front of the 54, so a little bit quicker stop. That may put him at the point when this restart fires on off. As we see the rest of the field make their way down pit road. And now hand the race lead over to the 10 machine as the lights are extinguished on the pace car. we have quickie yellows here at the super speedway, so we will get ready to double file them up, re-rack them, restack them, and go green flag racing here at Daytona once again. This yellow was, of course, for the stage caution. If you're just joining us now, there was not a cause of the yellow. As Lori in chat, Mark did not get his lap back there. He had to pit a lap later due to being a lap down, so he is still one of the cars a lap down, so he'll have to try and fight his way through the lap down cars and try and get his lead, his lap back, either the lucky dog or the hard way by passing those very large field of non-lap down cars that have 29 cars in it. As we have 37 cars that took this green flag, and all 37 cars are still running. So pretty impressive. As we wait for the iRacing pace car to make the hard left-hand turn down pit road. And then that will hand the restart over to the 10. He'll have the 21 machine behind him, and the 54 will have the 33 machine behind him as we fire on off, and we are back racing here at Daytona. A pretty even start by both the front row, but the 21 a lot closer than the 33. That'll help them get a better run off of turn number 2, as the 21 actually backed up a good bit on entry, so I'll have to see how this plays on out, as they'll probably be door to door going down this backstretch. As the 54 almost clears the 10, but the 54 stuck on the top side still. As we have one car having to serve a penalty here. Looks like the 84 machine, so he'll be out of the draft, so tough break there. As we got most of this field double filed on up. The 10 machine leading the inside, the 54 leading the outside. As one of the biggest movers in the race right now, that 09 machine, that white, red, and black machine, up 25 positions. Currently running in the 6th position, that third car on the high lane. Right behind him, Ian Habiak. He's also a pretty big mover as well, up 16 positions as well. We look a little bit further back, most of the cars still in this lead pack, only a few not, with the 87 machine about to get engulfed by the field here. That's about how much of a track he has before. These leaders gotta try and get around him. With the speed difference, he'll be a sit and duck, but these leaders gotta try and navigate around him cleanly. They most likely will catch him either in the travel or turn number 1, I would have to believe, on this lap. As the inside line with a great surge. That's looking like the line to be, unless that outside is very formed up and ready to go. The 87 machine will stay high, and we'll see if the field can navigate on around him. So he will now be the first car a lap down, as it looks like everyone gets through cleanly here for the first couple rows, as he finds a gap and can slot on in there. We look a little bit further back here, the 42 machine starting to form pack number 2, trying to ride around here, make sure everything is alright, make sure that if there is the infamous big one at Daytona, that they're going to try not to be involved with it, because this time it seems like the intensity a little bit higher. This second lane doesn't seem like it's going to dissipate anytime soon, as it's got a healthy number of cars in it compared to that inside line, compared to when we saw it first at the start of the race. We see the 33 machine jump down to that inside line, so one of the front runners getting down to the bottom while he can. As it was the 33 machine of John Perkins getting on down. But another car takes his place, the 09 machine of James Miller, now second car in the top row, and giving that 54 a pretty good run here, as the 54 machine does lead that lap. As we look at the 33 machine, we'll go over a little bit of details about the driver. So he's from the very large state of Texas. The three main sponsors on that machine is the Torchy's Tacos, Texas HTO. So that explains why the flames on that 33 machine is the old Torchy's Tacos. Some cool iRacing accomplishments from John himself is breaking the 5,000 I rating. That is a pretty elite club, and it for sure puts you in the top 1% of iRacing users in the oval side of things. I assume it's oval since he's out here running oval, but a pretty good accomplishment. Not too many people can get that done here in iRacing. Some real-life racing accomplishments is he won the first IMCA Limited Modified race at his track when they brought the car to the track. So that is pretty cool there. Some IMCA Dirt Modified racing. I always love to see that. Up here in the Midwest, we got some as well. And actually, my family has a IMCA Dirt Modified that I try and go and help crew on. Maybe could get a chance to jump in the driver's seat as we're saving up the funds and trying to get a place to, of course, build that awesome workshop to work on these cars. So pretty cool stuff out of there from the real life. Favorite driver out there is Ryan Blaney in the 12 car. Had a pretty decent race today at Auto Club. Doesn't really have a favorite iRacing track, but loves the Tour Modifieds on iRacing. I do love those things too, actually. When I first started, I used the Tour mods to kind of learn the real life mods that I was planning on racing. A little bit different, but still a great learning experience here by iRacing, and those Tour mods are so much fun to drive. I wish they got more love on the sim. And of course, the goals for the season for this 33 car is stay top 10 in points and maybe even crack the top 5, as he is doing just that right now in the 5th position. So if they were to end as they stand, he'd be top 5 in points. Most of these cars still running pretty well. They're starting to get close on their pit window. I believe we saw pit stops around lap 22 to 25. So we are about 20 laps into this run since that yellow flag, just a little bit after actually. So we will see some cars coming on down here soon as we see the 54 go from the top side with, I believe, his teammate, with that paint scheme being so similar, now down to the bottom, probably thinking about pitting here sometime soon, as the 10 machine goes to the top side with the run. So the 10 machine of TBB saying, not so fast, I'm not going to push you, I'm going to go to where you were and clear myself. Let's see if the 10 does go down into turn 1 to reclaim the lead and slide in front of that 54 machine. Now to see if the 54 does it right back, or if he stays behind the 10 and decides to push him, as he decides to do it right back to him. So a battle for the race lead at 200, 190 miles an hour, as the 54 not quite able to clear the 10, but he will try off of turn 4 as he's getting an awesome push by the 09 machine. As this time by, folks, we see the cross flags halfway to go in this race. Been pretty even battle from the drop of that restart between the 10 and the 54. They continue to lead their respective lines. The 10 once again back down on the bottom, 54 back down on top. And the rest of the field just following them, trying to click off these laps. As cross flags that time by from the stripe. Halfway to go. Halfway down. As we still have 27 of these Arca cars on the lead lap. The 54 finally able to get down in front of the 10, so he will now lead the bottom. The 09 being pushed by Ian Habiak now is the leader on the outside, and they both almost push clear of the 54. The 09 slides down in front of the 54, so new race leader here, the 09 machine of James Miller. But now the 16 machine of Ian Habiak leading that outside lane. Alrighty, so those cars with those similar paint schemes up front, we see 3 out of the top 5 with them. They are Team AV, and they are showing some speed here at Daytona. As you see the 02 of Race Clark jump down to that bottom side. Even Ian Habiak without a drafting partner finally gets picked up there, but losing some spots. Yeah, it looks like Ian picked up actually by 2 lap cars behind him, the 9 and the 87, both a lap down, so they are just looking to get their lap back. As we got some takers down pit road, quite a few of the front runners trying to get it woed on down. 54 deep with the braking and gets it woed down in time for his pit stops. We'll go back up to the front where the 16 machine of Ian Habiak in the TRJ karting machine takes over the racing point. As we see the next group of takers down pit road being led by the 16 machine. Now we'll go back up to the front where last week's Clash winner Ty Marasco is leading the way kind of on his own. So he's going to have to get down pits this next time by and make sure he doesn't get caught out from the draft. As, one car spinning here, trying to get down pit road. Not sure who that was, but some contact in one car with some damage. as we get the last set of pit cycles, the next set of pit cycles filed on through as the 54 machine goes around down the backstretch and down below the double yellow. That is the yellow flag there, so some cars involved as more cars continue to crash behind him, and that will bring out the first yellow flag of the race. We will go back to the replay as we see the 54 already spinning. As we go back a little bit further, we watch the 54 maybe getting pushed, has two cars in front of him. Let's see what happened as he tries to go low here with cars, maybe lifts and does get hit in the rear by, I believe, the 06 machine. That sends him through the grass, but I believe some other cars were involved as the 22 and the 09. Oh yeah, they were crashing as well on the speedway, so more cars with some damage. You see the 21 coming in there late and some heavy contact as these cars continue to pile on in here at Daytona. They might seem like they slow down a lot, but it's really hard to slow down in these wrecks as we see the 4 car try to make it on through and just gets the 22 as they continue to wad them on up. We will watch one more time from the 22 machine and see what happened as they try and go high, try and go low. And they wreck them on up here at Daytona for the first time tonight. And of course, they come right after pit cycles. Maybe the 54 getting spun may have helped him, even though he loses some track position. It kept him out of big one, number 1 tonight. As we go back live here, the 1 car, after everything cycles on through, is the race leader, up 28 positions as they stand. As they come by, this time by, they will click over to lap number 68 of 120 under our second yellow flag, but our first yellow flag because of an incident. We'll have to see how many cars can make it back out there. As I want to say, at least 7 cars involved there, with the yellow flag coming out, beginning with the 54 spinning. As the lights are extinguished on the pace car, we are going green. Next time by, we will re-rack them, restack them, and send them back to 190 miles an hour. Maybe some we'll have to see what's going on. Maybe some wrong scoring here, but As of right now, they're all lined up single file for this restart. The lights are extinguished on the pace car, so we are going to go green here. Maybe a single file restart, maybe an old school one. As we see the pace car making its way down pit road, we are going green here for lap number 69. As we get a very delayed green flag there. That is an interesting call by iRacing. So it shows that not only is my stream struggling tonight, but maybe iRacing itself as well, because that was one of the weirdest starts on iRacing as the green flag came out after the start-finish line. As we get some cars double file on up, taking advantage of that weird restart. Amanda Sherman from the back, now up 28 positions, trying to lead that high side. Being followed by that 38 machine of Brandon Feeney. He was one of the ones that did spin coming to pit road, so that was the 38 machine. Couldn't quite read that car number because a little hard to read with that paint scheme, but that is the 38 machine of Liquid Molly. I believe it's a Ford Taurus on the stickers by the front of that thing. But we go back up to the front of Ty Marasco leading the way. Now the 83 trying to jump out. He is a lap down, but he's going to try and get his lap back the old-fashioned way, unlapping himself under green. So the one machine is leading this inside line, having every now and then blinks on out. That's going to hurt the run of that inside line, but the high side being led by the 83 machine, who is a lap down. Same with that 46 of Fred Thompson. So both those drivers trying to get a lap back the hard way. But that means Ian Haybiak can jump out in front of him and get pushed to the race lead if he needs to. As we are already on lap 72 of the 120 scheduled. As whoa, the 83 gets a little low. That sends a 6 car to overreact because he can't see what's going on. So that will check up the inside lane as Amanda Sherman jumps to the gap that she saw, and now is that 4th car on the inside line. She is the biggest mover of the race so far, up 31 positions. In that very similar to that Dale Earnhardt Jr. Budweiser scheme. But of course, it's another one of those awesome looking MF Racing Design schemes. As these lap cars look like they will stay high, we'll see if the field how they navigate on through as they catch them right in the middle of the corner. We got the 83 Michelob Ultra machine weaving a little bit, but they make it on through for the most part. Well, that looks like it'll file them out even more here in this race. most everyone's in this lead pack. We got the 55 machine of Paul Ellison being the last car in this pack in P19. But there is one other pack a little bit further back made up of about 7 cars. These guys all just running around, really keeping their distance to that main pack, making sure that they don't get involved in anything. With the lights of our outside pole sitter that we're looking at, Josh Rutherford, we hear guys calling checking as we get a yellow flag here. We'll have to see what happened, as I believe the 88 machine was involved in some heavy damage there. We'll go back to the replay and see what happened to that Discount Tire 88 machine, as we see one car in the wall there. They try and avoid him. That's a 46 machine, and then the 22 not realizing the 88 was coming down to avoid that car. They both come together coming off of turn 4, and that puts both cars hard in the outside wall. As you see that right front ripped off that 88 machine, as the rest of the field scatters on through that 5 car. Wow, shoots the gap and makes it on through. So as we don't get quite the big one, but 2 more cars involved in a incident here at Daytona. As we'll see if cars decide to come on down pit road. It looks like they will, and they'll be led by the 1 car. That'll mean some of these cars staying on out can get the wave around if they choose not to pit next time by. That'll be the likes of the 83, the 38, as we look at Mark Arthur and that Barbie machine, keeping that thing clean and green as he goes to pit stall number 1. As the 1 car first down pit road, first car off of pit road. Not too much of a shakeup in the front, but the 76 machine of Rick Thompson up to P number 3. As now we'll see, folks, the intensity will start ramping up here as the closing laps are approaching. We're getting to 2/3 of the way done with this race. Now people will start having to set themselves up, try and see what they can get done, see what moves can be made. Because if you're like in 20th, 25th, you know, you don't want to be back there by the time it's 10 to go or so, or else you gotta go to that treacherous 3rd lane. As we get 1 car waved around the pace car. This time we'll double file them up, re-rack them, restack them, and it should be hopefully a normal restart. We will have to wait and see, as the lights are extinguished on top of the iRacing pace car. inside line being led by the one machine of Ty Marasco, who, there he is, he's back. And then the outside being led by Ian Habiak. One funny thing about the one car is, I'm pretty sure he did not turn a single lap in practice. So, well, I've heard that's kind of a trend. So we'll have to see if he keeps that up for the season. As at least here in Daytona, I don't think I ever saw that one machine out on track. So we got no practice Ty leading the way. He doesn't need practice. He can go out there and still wheel these things here in the race. As these guys will tighten up this field. Wait for the pace car to make the hard left-hand turn, which it does. Now we'll wait for the 1-2 fire on off. He fires on off, and we are back racing here at Daytona. A great restart by both lanes, door to door by the time they will go into turn 1. As we see Ty getting stuck in the sucker hole here. He'll be in the middle of 3 as they try and get around the lap car. 76 makes contact and they are wrecking down low. We'll see who makes it on through. This will be the second big one of the night, as that involves a lot of cars in the front of the field. We saw it happening live with that contact, how it started, and we'll see how it finished, as quite a few cars with damage here. As old Darrell Waltrip would say, cautions breed cautions, and that is the case there. As we will go try and see the replay from the 8 machine, as they are already spinning on track. And then we'll see the rest of the field come on in the 42 with a hard hit, 73 as well. 77 involved. The 06 makes hard evasive maneuvers through the grass, makes it on through. That could have been a lot bigger than it actually was. But still, some fast cars involved and may have to go through this field once again. As I believe the 76 machine of Rick Thompson did claim that yellow. He did make that initial contact, but I don't know if he caused it. But he made the initial contact, so he'll bring it down pit road here. Get some fuel in that thing, maybe some tires, but we'll have to start at the end of the line with claiming that yellow. As we see quite a few takers down pit road, we only have pretty much the top 10 stay out. So we'll have to see how that affects the field, as a little bit of split strategy here on lap number 81. Now we'll run through the top 10 running order with pit cycles. Ian Habiak leading the way in that 16 TRJ machine. In second, we got John Perkins in that 33. Third place goes to Derek Paulson in the 6. Sam Bumgarden in the 57 is in P4. And Josh Sexton rounds out our top 5. 6th place goes to Jason Powell. 7th is Matt Gruenberg. 8th is Corey Rutherford in the 5, who we saw 2 yellows ago now split those 2 wrecked cars and make it on through. 9th place goes to Randy McAvoy in the 7, and rounding out our top 10 all the way behind these lap cars around him, the 64 of Josh Rutherford. As we go back up to the front, lights are extinguished on the iRacing pace car here once again. We will once again re-rack them, restack them. As some tough breaks here already in this race, but it's not over yet. Like I said, we saw early in that one with that yellow flag coming out, not even 1 lap completed. The intensity is being slowly cranked up on the dial. I bet we're getting close to that 7.5, 8 mark. But there's still more to crank on up in these race cars, because we are inside of 40 laps to go. And we still, even after all this, have 22 cars on the lead lap. So that is pretty impressive in itself. As we'll now wait for the pace car to make the hard left-hand turn down pit road. We'll wait for the 16 machine to fire on off. We are green flag here once again at Daytona for lap number 83. The 16 gets a great start but pulls away from the cars on the inside line. We'll have to see if that hurts them by the time they get to the corner. As the 16 machine leads the bottom, 33 up top as they head into turn 1, and a little bit of motion back and forth from those second cars in both those respective lanes. As we look at this field slowly starting to form on up. A 33 machine clear of the 16, but elects to stay high in front of the 57. Maybe thinking that's a lane to stay in front of for a little bit, as that inside line not as well formed as that top side, as the 33 will lead this time by. But to give you a little bit of insight, folks, maybe we'll ride on board for the Michael Falk onboard machine. Michael Falk onboard camera for the 6, because we'll see what he is seeing, because it can get pretty sketchy. As you see here, him playing with the throttle and the wheel, because as it gets closer to the car pushing is not only trying to drive the track, but they're also kind of in a reaction state, because if that car in front of them makes a move left or right, trying to hit their marks, all of a sudden you can't see the corner and you're reacting to the car reaction in front of you. So that's why you see some pretty erratic motions from like the second, third, fourth car in line, because it's hard to predict, and you're reacting to the car in front of you, which also may be reacting, like in this case, as the 33 and the 57 now both down low in front of that 16 machine. continue to look here. Now the 18 machine of Jason Powell leads the high side, but the 33 all the way up there is leading that bottom side and keeping that thing wound on up. As we look a little bit further back, the 12th car of Mark Arthur, even though he's in this pack, he sadly still is a lap down. But as they run right now, he is currently the lucky dog. So if there is another yellow, he has to keep that Barbie machine clean, and he'll be eligible for the lucky dog. He is currently battling the 38 machine, who's in this next pack right there for the lucky dog spot. So he's looking in a pretty good spot if things keep on running as they are and they get a yellow flag. As we got one lapper up top, that's the 89 machine. As they get around him safely of Philip Van Vliet. Now with these cars all bunched up and these sweet sounds of Daytona, we will do a little crank it up, folks, so I will be right back. We'll let the cars speak for themselves here for the turn 3. Crank it up. So we are back here for lap 92. And the 4 machine of Tanner Marr has some insight here in chat. as the 12 was speeding on pit road, and that's what caught him a lap down. And yeah, to touch base with your Michael, I see you saying it is laggy. Yeah, my OBS has not been the happiest here at Daytona. I've been doing a couple streams here, and it is not liking the recent update here with all the stuff that's trying to be loaded at the super speedway. So my apologies if the stream is still having trouble. I've been trying everything in the background, but hopefully it gets on better. But that is my apologies. As we look up to the front, Jason Powell in the 18 machine is our race leader, leading that bottom side. Corey Rutherford now in the 5 machine, leading the top side and being pushed by the fellow Rutherford in the 64 machine. As we got another lapper staying high, the field trying to get on by, and it seems like everyone gets on by cleanly there. As we got 5 cars or so up on the top side, then everyone else down low. But we will still have at least one more pit cycle in this race with how it times on out. So we'll have to see when people decides to come on down as it starts to get closer to that time once again. As if there's one car that can really stretch his fuel to the ultimate limit, that is the 41 machine of Captain Safe Fuel himself, Dalton Kilrow. He can make that fuel tank last. He's got the old Smoky Unique 3-inch diameter fuel lines because he can always somehow manage to make that 41 machine go a lap, if not more, on fuel. So we'll have to see if that comes into play tonight here at Daytona, see what he can do. But he is in his own lonesome with the 10 machine of TBB kind of just running on their own outside of the pack and slowly losing time to that big pack, as 2 cars are slower than the large pack that's up front. So they will kind of have to hope for a yellow or really have a lightning fast stop to try and close this 8-second gap to the pack in front. As we go back up to the front here, we see the 5 and the 18 still side by side. Right now, we are actually on top of the grandstands here at Daytona International Speedway, seeing what the spotters would see as they go around this 2.5-mile racetrack. As we see the 5 clear and go down in front of the 18. So now we got the 5 leading the inside, 64 leading the top side. Now the top side only has 4 cars, but we'll see if the 5 intentionally slows down that inside line and allow the 64 in front, which he does. So game plan worked out perfectly. Now they got to get it on the loud pedal, not allow the 09 machine, who is now leading the top side. As these guys get set up for the final set of green flag pit stops, as we get 23 laps to go, coming to 22. Once they pit this next time, they will be good to the end. As we see the 54 machine making it 3 wide, not wanting to push that 54. So We'll have to see if this works out for them as we see the 12 car also duck out of line and try and go to the top side. As we see the inside line really having to check up the 57 now, trying to jump out of it. But Mark Arthur in the wall there a little bit. That's going to slow his momentum down, but able to keep that car straight. As he somehow keeping that car straight, keeping the damage to a limited, and able to now come back up in the draft. And that may have looked easy from us sitting at home, but I tell you what, these Arca cars, they're skewed out in the right rear. So if you get that wall with that right side, I call it getting stuck in the wall glue, as they get just stuck in that wall, and it takes a lot of force. You got to literally yank the wheel to the left to unstick them, unyank them out of the wall. As we see the 12 car with a power move trying to go to the front and unlap himself the hard way. He's cleared the 09, but not quite the 64. Now he does that, but now doesn't clear the 09. So we'll have to see if they do end up, the 09 and the 54 do end up jumping down to the inside. But Mark Arthur trying to unlap himself the hard way here, doing it under green flag racing conditions. As we get some takers down pit road, we'll have to see if everyone makes it down there safely and does not speed, because this would be heartbreaking if you made it through this whole race and then sped here on the most important stop so far of this race. As we see the 12 machine of Mark Arthur does jump down to this inside line. That will probably indicate that he is pitting sometime here soon, as James Miller in the 09 machine once again takes over the race lead. We saw a lot of speed out of both the 09 and the 54 in the clash. We'll see if they can continue to do it. As contact coming down pit road, the 33 goes around. He got hit and then got hit again, and the 6 car misses pit road, so that will be a penalty there. So the 33, even though he may have gotten spun, doesn't have a penalty, but a tough break on the most important stop of the race so far for a few of these drivers. As pit cycles cycle on through, TBB Taylor Butcher Benjamin takes over the race lead with Dalton Kilrow. Like I said, that 41 machine could probably go another lap on fuel, but I would have to assume this time by we'll see both these cars come on down pit road, and that will cycle out the field of pit stops. As we see just that, and the 41 actually overtakes the 10, locks him on up, making sure he hits the pit road speed. But now we go back up to the front of the field. The 09 machine will reclaim the lead here. As he dives down behind the 46, getting the draft, and will work with his teammate of the 54. And actually the 54 goes high and says, I'm not going to work with you. Or maybe it's orchestrated where the 54 wants to be pushed by the 09. But they are going to try and work together, try and pull away from the rest of the field, because there is a pack, but they're about 3 seconds back. So that would be a big run on these leaders, because they are coming with a head of steam here, with 18 laps to go here at the Daytona International Speedway. As we see the 6 car going up top to get out of the way, that will force the 09 just barely 3 wide, as they just clear in front of the 46. 46 may have just had to lift the throttle. 76 not realizing it, almost make contact, but they get it. Keep it facing the right direction here as they go flying by the one machine as well. And now with 4 cars, that second pack will really have to form up, really have to get a run on these guys, because this is enough cars that they can kind of maintain. So we will have to see how this all unfolds. As we look here, here are the leaders. And there is that second pack trying to see if they can catch those guys, as they have about 4, maybe 5 cars if they pick up the 12 as well. So what these lead cars are hoping for, just like in the Clash, hoping for no yellow flag, and it goes green to the end. As a 76 goes to the high side by himself, Rick Thompson trying to make it work. Maybe going to get some help from the 6 and the 57. It looks like it. They are both. The 6 car is a lap down. The 57 is on the lead lap. So we'll have to see if this pack stays alone. If a lap car does in fact make the difference on who wins this race. As the 54 down low, 76 up top with the momentum. As we get 15 laps to go, folks. This is where you click up the dial to that magic 9. Not quite 10 yet. That's about inside of 10 laps to go. But it's up at 9 right now, trying to see who will work with you. What will happen? And navigating the air around you. As the lap car stays high, everyone gets on through in this lead pack for the most part. So there's those 2 packs, and then there's pack number 3 out here being led by Corey Sherman in the 3 machine, being followed by Josh Rutherford, Dalton Kilrow, Terry Foster, and Randy McAvoy in here as well, and same with TBB. So all these guys bringing up this 3rd pack from 10th to 15th. All of these cars hoping for a yellow flag. But we'll have to see if we get it. As we go to the front here, some 3 wide action already. Rick Thompson leading the bottom. The 6 car, who is a lap down of Derek Paulson, leading the middle. And then we have another lap down car, Mark Arthur, leading that top lane. The 12 car has to get around the 6 if the 6 does not end up leading this race and unlaps himself the hard way. As good old iRacing here. If you look closely at the 09 machine, you'll see that his left front isn't actually on the ground. This is just on my end with the good old advanced damage model of the Arca car, so we'll have to be not distracted by that on my end. But we have the 76 leading the bottom, the 6 car leading the top side here as we get 12 laps to go. You can tell the intensity's ramping on up. These cars lifting less, the speed's picking on up. As this is, of course, the Blazing Pedals here on Turn 3 Racing Network, presented by TRJ Karting. As we get to the end of this race, 11 laps to go. And we have about the top 8 in this field. Ian Habiak, the last car in this pack, currently running P8, but in the advantage of being able to tell what line's moving, when to go, where to go. But if he wants to get to the front, most likely will have to go to that treacherous 3rd lane unless something happens in front of him. As this time by for the race leaders, we get the 2 open palms. 10 laps to go. This time by at Daytona. That second pack has grown from, well, it's still 10th through 15th on track. But this pack in front has grown with a few lap cars involved in it. But some names we haven't heard too much, except for here recently, like the 42, the 5, the 18, all up here with a fighting chance. And of course the 12 machine of Mark Arthur in that Barbie machine. Hasn't had any sort of luck, just barely missing out on every single lucky dog, trying his best to get it. As we get down in the single digits, 9 laps to go. As we go back to the second pack, all single filed out, trying to use their speed to their advantage. They have closed in on the leaders just ever so slightly, but they will run out of time with how they will run out of time to get to the lead, but they are slowly closing the gap. We look back up to the front. We'll see if the 54 decides to go up high, or if he stays down low. Has his teammate behind him. But Rick Thompson is leading the inside in that 76. The 6 car leading the outside. But we got some heavy lap traffic in front of him. This will make it interesting as we have 8 laps to go. As they try and navigate past the 1 car here, he will stay low. They will get room. It will be 3 wide. But here they go to the rest of the field. The 6 just barely slides in. There wasn't an inch between them. They will shoot up through the middle of these lap cars. Now the 54 will have to check up big time. The 76 goes low and tries to keep that momentum. He comes out of here with the best. They are checking up big. The 46 goes around. And that will bring out the yellow flag at the front of this field. And oh my goodness, if you thought it was crazy, it will be even crazier. As we will see the checkup, the 46 does get hit in the back from checking on up, catching those cars. And somehow the rest of the field makes it on around. Does an awesome job keeping it off the racing surface, doing some sweet pirouettes and keeping that thing facing the right direction. That was Fred Thompson in that 46 machine, able to keep that thing with minimum damage. As the 71 says it crashed as well. Not sure what happened with him, but Chris Legou on pit road late in this race. As we will get a green flag restart inside of 5 to go. This is where he turned that intensity meter all the way up. We skip 10. We go all the way to 11 when we go green flag racing here. And once again, folks, it's well, first and foremost, my good old iRacing's broken, showing the 76 with no left front on the ground. He, in fact, should be all right. But the 6 machine of Derek Paulson will be our lucky dog, and thus not giving it to Mark Arthur once again. So Mark will once again be trapped a lap down and has 0 luck here at Daytona. As we see there, the 6th car getting the wave around. And now lap car is able to pit. We don't see too many of the front runners down pit road. Everyone should be good on fuel. No one elects to take the new tires if they have any. So the front row will look like the 76 of Rick Thompson. Sam Bumgarden in the 57 will start to his outside. The second row will be made of the 18 of Jason Powell. And starting outside second row is Matt Gruenberg in the 54. So some strong cars up in the front 2 rows. As I'm going to take a quick second breather, folks, and get ready to be nonstop talking by the time we go green flag racing, because this is going to be crazy. This is going to be intense, as this time by, the pace car should extinguish its lights on top, and we should be able to re-rack them, restack them, and go green flag racing here at Daytona once again. As we come back here, we have a choice being made for the first time tonight. The 76 machine of Rick Thompson will elect to start on the high side. So pretty cool there. As we'll quickly look at these drivers getting ready to go green this last time by. We see 2 out of the 3 in VR. That's what you see with the goggles in front of them. They feel like they're actually in that race car. VR is always great, especially in iRacing, but it can be pretty tough on the stomach if you wreck, especially in these super speedways, especially if you go flipping. So that's some of the biggest drawbacks here, but some cool shots out from our in-car cams from what we're seeing from the driver. So pretty cool stuff there. I tell you what, that 73 machine on the top there has an awesome steering wheel and rig. I gotta give me something like that sometime. But we'll go back to live as the pace car is about to make the hard left-hand turn down pit road. And when we get the green flag racing, it will be 3 laps to go, and the gloves come off. We fire on off. 76 gets a awesome start. I think we'll clear the 56, not quite, but no one's really formed up in the front. They all single file out. This will allow the cars behind them to get the big run. And where they go, who knows, as the 56 goes high of the 57, as everyone behind them starts to build up their momentum. They got to keep it green. If they want to finish under green, they got to keep it green till the white flag. If there's a wreck under white flag, the race will end under checkered. So you'll see all the drivers keep their foot in it. As we see the 5 car of Corey Rutherford closing the gap to the 18. This will be a race. This time by at the flag stand when we get there. Popsicle sticks up in the air. 2 laps to go. Rick Thompson down low. Matt Gruenberg up top. This is what that second pack, like the 3 of Corey Sherman, wanted to see get a shot at this win, as he is the 4th car in that inside line right behind Ian Habiak, with Dalton Kilroe right behind him as well. As I'm surprised, folks, not too many cars electing to jump up top and build up that momentum. I would for sure think the likes of the 64 and whatnot will be going to that second lane, trying to build up that momentum, try and get themselves a shot, because where you want to be, especially on the white flag lap, if you got the run, is that first car on the top side, because you get such a run down that super stretch. But we'll see if that happens as that top side starts to form more, as the 41 does exactly that, as we get our white flag. 1 lap to go here at Daytona, presented by Salvage Edge. As the 5 car goes to that third lane, being pushed by the 41. We'll see if that's too little, too late. That will slow up them. As the 18 right on the bumper of the 54, they make contact. There is the big one down the backstretch. That will involve a whole bunch of cars as they go high and low. And what a hit by the 54. He goes flying. We go back up to the front. It'll be a race between the 76 and the 57. Does the 57 time this out perfectly? Does the 76 throw a huge block? We'll have to see, as the 3 car of Corey Sherman is in third. It looks like the 57 will file in. He tries to get the run, goes up high, but not enough. The 76 of Rick Thompson wins this thing with Sam Bumgarden in second. Corey Sherman rounds out our top 3. And what a wreck down that backstretch. That was huge. As Corey Sherman in that 3 machine, Salvage Edge 3 machine, is tonight's biggest mover, up 29 positions to P3. But tonight's big winner, the first win of the season, goes to the 76 machine of Rick Thompson. We will be sure to talk to this top 3 right after we see the 76 do some burnouts for the fans at home, and then after our commercial break. As we saw the 54 get turned there, he falls all the way back to 20th position after that. So we will have to as we get the cars parked on the front stretch here, the top 3 who we'll be talking to here right back after some burnouts and commercials.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $400,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
And we are back here in the podium position. Third place goes to Corey Sherman. We'll try and dial him up on the mic and see if he's got a copy. Corey, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here.
I got you.
All righty, Corey. So I saw before that second, well, I guess the last yellow, but the second to last big one, you were leading that second pack. I bet you were hoping for that yellow. You got it, and then you made it through that big one. What was it like for that 3 car here tonight?
Yeah, I mean, we stayed back quite a bit, the TNA guys, and just let everything sort out, which it ended up doing. And Josh Rutherford was pushing me really good. We were catching him a little bit, but we didn't think we had time, and that caution was awesome. And then, yeah, it all just broke loose there at the end. I can't believe I made it through that to get the podium.
Yeah, walking away with a podium. You can't start off the season too much better, especially with the stacked field of 37 cars we had tonight, and to get it done the way you did, pretty impressive. How did the car drive tonight? It seemed like you were leading that second pack pretty well.
Yeah, I mean the car felt great all night.
We're
Drafted
sitting
up
here
well. That's
laughing
why
at that.
I was kind of hoping I had a little bit more time there at
Yeah,
the
that
end
you
because I
shouldn't be
just
laughing.
started catching their
That's
draft and
that's kind of ignorant.
right at
You know
the
you're 4 laps down. Don't
right
just
at the line
slap
there,
right to
and
a wreck like that. Come on, man.
yeah, I'm I'm just happy with the third. It was awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome, especially with the chaoticness of Daytona. We saw that big one down the backstretch. And so, Corey, looking forward in the season, what's maybe some expectations for this 3 team?
You know, we're just looking to make the playoffs like we usually do. Most of the time I get in on points. I haven't won a race yet, but maybe we'll get that first win this season, or hopefully one of my other teammates in TNA get that win.
Yeah, it means a lot to get a win, especially with everything going on with its competitors. But a podium is nothing to laugh at here. So before we let you go, Corey, and go celebrate the podium, I'm sure there's a whole bunch of people you got to thank for this 3 team.
Yeah, first of all, I got to thank all my teammates tonight. TNA Motorsports. We had Terry, Phillip, Chris, Rick, and Amanda. Aaron couldn't make it; wasn't feeling too well, so hopefully he gets better. And Savage Edge Graphics. Make sure you go to savageedge.com. Get yourself. We can put your name on anything. And TRJ Karting, MF Racing Designs, Buck Kicker, and the admins for all they do for this league and everybody involved in it. It's a great league, and it was actually a really fun race tonight. I'm surprised there wasn't more chaotic things going on, but everybody seemed to level head. Usually it does work out first of the season, but it did, and look forward to a great season ahead.
Yeah, Corey, I agree. The clash, maybe everyone got their antsiness out there because tonight was some good racing and some 3-wide racing there at the end. So, Corey, go celebrate this podium finish and hopefully talk to you some more as the season goes on.
All right, thanks a lot, Brett.
Alrighty, that was our 3rd place finisher, Corey Sherman, in the 3. Now we'll dial up our runner-up finisher, Sam Bumgarden, in the 57.
I thought you
Sam, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here.
Yeah, I got you, Brett.
Alrighty. So we're talking to you once again here at Daytona. How was the 57 machine this time around?
It's pretty much the same it was in the Clash. I mean, I really like pushing, so I kind of tend to stay behind somebody, and it just happened to work out there at the end that my teammate was right in front of me. We made it work, had him jump down in front of me. I told him I wasn't going to move and just pushed him on to at least get one of us the victory and bring it home today.
Yeah, I was waiting for that 57 to duck on out behind the 76. Wasn't sure if you're going to do it. You did it at the end, just quite not enough to get it done, but a P2, you got to be pretty happy with that, especially with that chaos unfolding on that last lap there.
Oh, yeah, I'm extremely happy. I mean, the team got a 1-2 finish here tonight, so big shout out to Speed Mafia. It's unfortunate what happened to all of our other teammates. I actually think I got into the 33 there on the one pit stop, so I apologize to him. It's hectic on them green flag pit stops, but we managed to bring home P2, so it's a great start to the season for Rick and myself.
Yeah, speaking about those green flag pit stops, they seem to be some of the most challenging aspects here tonight at the Super Speedway Racing. What was kind of going through your mind, and where was your brake point at heading down to that 60-mile-an-hour speed limit?
Oh, the break point was pretty much where everybody wasn't braking. I always try to go a little bit deeper to try and gain at least 1 or 2 positions, maybe if I can. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But it was just hectic all around. I mean, I would jack on the brakes, and like I said, I got into my own teammate doing it. So they're definitely challenging. Definitely probably have to work on them. I mean, who can't, better their pit stops? But we made it work, and hey, we brought home P2.
Yeah, Sam. Nothing to laugh about to be on the podium with 37 cars out here at Daytona. It was a stacked field here tonight with some great competitors, so a pretty awesome job to finish in that runner-up position. But before we let you go, I'm sure there's got to be a lot of people you got to thank at this 57 camp here tonight.
Yeah, I want to shout out Speed Mafia. Like I said, 1-2 finish tonight, so we can't complain about that, but all the other guys at Speed Mafia, thanks for bringing me on, and let's go do well this season for them. MF Racing Designs, he painted the old Heinz throwback car, I guess you could call it, or just Heinz car in general. I'm from Pittsburgh, so it kind of made sense. We switched to the 57 this year to maybe turn around a little bit of luck. Seems like it's working so far, so we're going to hang on to that. Savage Edge Graphics, of course. Corey, you just talked to him. He got third place. Congrats to him. So go check out savageedge.com. And I'd also like to shout out NextEv Media. It's a company that I just got brought on to for like a stream team kind of thing. So shout out to those guys as well.
Alrighty, awesome, Sam. Well, hopefully we'll talk to you more in the future, as that 57 does seem to be bringing you some luck, at least here at Daytona. Hopefully that continues as the season goes on. But you have yourself a great rest of your night.
You too, Brett. Thanks.
Alrighty, that was our runner-up finisher of Sam Bumgarden in the 57. Now we'll go to Victory Lane and talk to the man of the hour, Rick Thompson. Rick, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here.
Yeah, I got you, Brett.
Alrighty, man. So you got it done at the big stage here at Daytona. What was going through your mind that last lap, especially seeing all those cars wreck in your mirror?
Oh my gosh, it was pretty crazy. Before I started, I got a tradition here. I gotta open up a little beverage here. All right, so I'm telling you what, it was pretty crazy. I saw a couple of wrecks happening right behind us. We just happened to be lucky enough to be right in front of them, and it got crazy there at the end. I just got lucky enough to have a teammate with me right at the front there to help push me up and keep me in front of all of it.
Yeah, that was awesome. So, an interesting call to that last restart. You chose the top side. What was the thinking about that? We didn't see anyone else do that all night long.
Honestly, I knew the top side was getting a good push, and I knew if I could get just a good push in the very beginning that I could drop down, and I was hoping for some melees behind me and people trying to go 3 wide in the top lane after I dropped to kind of break up after that point. But I knew at the very beginning of the run it was going to be the most put together. And not only that, I had Sam, my teammate. He was going to start second, and so I knew one of the two of us was going to have to drop in front of the other one for either one of us to have a shot there at the end.
Yeah, so what were kind of the emotions going down that backstretch? You and your teammate come out 1-2. Were you afraid that he was going to jump out from you, or were you already celebrating by the time you reached turn 3?
Oh, we were celebrating after we saw everybody else wreck behind us. We knew one of the two of us was going to win it, and that's the main deal. You know, we're always about the team first. You know, make sure one of us comes across the line first. We were just making sure that neither one of us wrecked the other one, and we didn't have some kind of disaster happen at the end. But as long as one of us finished first and the other one finished second, we were going to be happy. But I'm ecstatic that I was able to get the first place out of this one. It was incredible. I can't believe I could have get the monkey off my back in the first race and get locked in and not have to worry about it the rest of the season. It's pretty incredible, honestly.
Yeah, that is the picture perfect way to start the season, rolling off in P1 and of course locking yourself into the playoffs. So Rick, before we let you go and celebrate it down in Victory Lane and celebrate this big win, I'm sure there's got to be a whole bunch of people you got to thank for the 76 crew here tonight.
Oh yeah, definitely. So first I want to thank obviously the league sponsor, TRJ Karting. Thank all the admins for everything they do. They put a lot of work into this whole league. Thank you, Brett, for being here to broadcast the whole thing. We definitely appreciate you being here. Turn 3 Network doing the broadcast. Thank my sponsor, Speed Mafia, who's also my team. And I want to thank all my teammates, especially Sam, but all my team. We were all group effort tonight. We all wanted to make sure one of us was going to cross the line first, and I just lucky enough to have been me tonight. But definitely want to thank all those guys for all their help tonight.
Yeah, it was awesome to watch that 76 machine come through this field and then defend it at the end. So, Rick, go celebrate it down in Victory Lane. Have a cold one on me, and I'll be sure to end up down at the party with all you guys after I wrap it up here in the booth.
Yeah, definitely. Come on down. We'll have some cold ones for you.
All righty, awesome. Well, Rick, you have a good rest of your night. Go enjoy it.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Brett.
All righty, that was our race winner, Rick Thompson, in the 76 machine, gets it done here at Daytona. So, folks, a great race, a great finish. Of course, got to end it with the big one, typical super speedway style, as we will now go through our finishing order, our race results for race number 1 of the Blazing Pedals season opener presented by TRJ Karting. Rick Thompson, who we just spoke to in the Speed Mafia number 76 machine, brings it home in P1. Second place goes to Sam Bumgarden in the 57. Third place goes to Corey Sherman in the 3. Fourth goes to Josh Rutherford, started P2, finishes P3. And rounding out our top 5, the 6 car of Derek Paulson. 6 goes to John Perkins in the 33, had an awesome rebound from that spin on pit road. 7th goes to Josh Sexton in the 51. 8th goes to Dalton Kilrow in the 41. 9th place is Randy McAvoy in the 7. And rounding out our top 10, Rick Hammond in the 77. 11th goes to TBB in the 10. Corey Rutherford in the 5 is 12th. 13th, James Miller in the 09. Paul Ellison in the 55 will finish 14th. And rounding out our top 15, Terry the Taffy Man Forrester in the 86. Ian Habiak in the 16 will finish in P16. Matt Gruenberg, we saw him get turned on that last lap, falls all the way down to P17. 18th goes to Jason Powell in the 18. 19th goes to Mark Arthur, who could never get back on the lead lap. 20th is Kyle Wellman in the 42. 21st is Joe Alberico in the 83. Ty Marasco in the 1 will bring home P22nd. 23rd is Cody Gibson in the 87. 24th goes to Nick Akie in the 9. Amanda Sherman in the 8 finishes 25th. 26th goes to Fred Thompson in the 46. Philip Van Vliet in the 89 will finish 27th. And 28th will go to Chris Legou in the 71 machine. 29th goes to Brad Collins in the 22 machine. 30th is Jeffrey Fisher. 31st is Jamie Walker. 32nd is Brandon Feeney. 33rd is Casey Campbell. 34th is Jordan McAvoy. 35th is Tanner Marr with absolutely no luck. We had him in the YouTube comment section. 36th is Race Clark. And 37th, and rounding out our field, is Matt Hackathorn. So some tough breaks for some cars further on down this field, but a crazy way to start off the season, of course, at Daytona. But the Blazing Pedal season is underway. Got to, of course, give a shout out to all the YouTube viewers out there at home. Thanks again to every single one of you tuning on in live, as well as tuning in on the replay. Got to give a shout out to Lori, Mark, Constantine, Tanner, Michael, Brandon, and anyone else who has commented in the stream. Appreciate every single one of you. And also Tim. Got to give a shout out to every single one of you for putting a comment in the YouTube chat lands. Of course, got to give a shout out to all the league sponsors here, like TRJ Karting, MF Racing Design, Savage Edge, and Butt Kicker. Be sure to check them all out if you get the chance to do so. This has been Brett the Jet on Turn 3 Racing Network. Be sure to tune in next week for the Blazing Pedals race number 2. And of course, always, everyone have a safe rest of your night. Have a safe weekend. And of course, we'll be back here next week at the same time. And just remember, folks, this has been Brett the Jet, and just flew by you. Have a good night.